You may be seated. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. The state would call Jacob Stoltz to stand, please.
You raise your right hand. You solemnly swear that the testimony about to give you the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
Could you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Jacob Stoltz, S-T-O-L-T-Z.
And before we get started in talking about this case, Mr. Stoltz, is it safe to say that you've had some criminal and addiction issues in the past?
Yes,
And in fact, you've been convicted 14 times?
that's correct.
Now, related to what we're here for today, do you know a person by the name of Kristopher Torgerson?
Yes,
And is the person that you know to be Kristopher Torgerson here in the courtroom today?
yes.
And just briefly, could you point to where he's sitting and describe an item of clothing he was in?
Glasses.
And ask for inquiry identification. Now, on March 10th of 2011, you met with Detective Holtz, who's seated to my left, related to the disappearance of Stephanie Lowe.
That's correct.
And you relayed some information to her that you had heard from the defendant, Mr. Torgerson.
Yes.
And are you able to tell the court and the jury about how long before you talked with Detective Holtz in March of 2011 you got this information from Mr. Torgerson?
It's probably early January, so about 2 months.
So January of 2011.
Yep.
Do you remember where you and Mr. Torgerson were or what you were doing during the time that he was talking to you?
He was driving his minivan and I was his passenger.
Were you here in Wausau?
Yeah, in the Rothschild area too.
Rothschild?
Yeah, the Rothschild area.
And for those who are not from the Wausau area, that's really close to Wausau, right?
Yeah.
What information did Mr. Torgerson tell you about the disappearance of Stephanie? Like, at the time, did you know that it was specifically related to Stephanie Lowe?
What was related?
The information that Mr. Torgerson provided to you at the time that you were talking, did he specifically say Stephanie Lowe?
No, he did not.
Okay. And did you know Stephanie, why can't I say this? Stephanie Lowe?
No, I did not.
Okay. So what information did Mr. Torgerson give you?
He basically just said, when they find what they're going to find, I'm going to go away for a long time.
Did he make any comments related to what you perceive to be about taking someone's life?
I believe it was the same conversation. He said something along the lines of, you don't know what it feels like, what a rush it is to have someone's life in your hands.
And when he made that statement, did he make any demonstrative motions with his hands that you recall?
Yes.
And could you please reenact that for the court?
It was just a subtle,
And just for the record, Mr. Stoltz lifted his hands up in front of him, very close together I don't want to put words in your mouth. What type of taking of someone's life do you think that referenced?
maybe he was referencing his...
Well, I'll object as to speculation.
Right.
Have you ever seen that particular motion done before?
On TV, I guess.
When you were watching TV,
Yeah.
what was it, what type of taking of someone's life was it related to?
I guess just more or less strength.
Right. So you met him through Narlock, basically, right?
I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure that was the one thing I can probably remember.
And then you and Torgerson started a friendship by driving around to you being a passenger in his van, right?
Yeah.
All right. And in fact, it was when you were a passenger in his van that this conversation for which you've been called to testify happened, right?
That's correct.
But him driving you around in his van was going on multiple days before the important conversation, right?
Yeah.
It was happening almost every day, wasn't it?
Us riding around in his van?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We had things to do, yeah.
And you were doing some, I don't care about the business that was going on, but you were doing stuff and Torgerson was driving you around, right?
Yeah, we were also doing errands that he had to take care of along with that, yeah.
Pardon?
We had to take care of some errands that he usually had to do on a daily basis, too.
You had some errands too,
Yeah,
on a daily basis.
we could say that.
And for his, was he really acting as your chauffeur for your errands?
I guess objection is really struggling with the relevance of it.
If I could just lay some foundation for the basis of these gentlemen's relationship and the time period before which this man's going to testify in an important conversation. That's all I'm doing.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Was he kind of your chauffeur? I'm saying that right. Chauffeur.
I don't know about that, like, I never, like, employed him as a driver by any means, but,
Did you pay him some money or something else to drive you around?
not really, just probably just more or less in the process of kicking it, we, shared certain things with each other.
And but you didn't have a car, so he did all the driving, right?
That's correct.
And didn't you get a sense after a while that he wanted to make sure that you didn't consider him your driver, right?
Sure.
He kind of started to talk tough to you, right? Like he's a tough guy.
A little bit.
Well, tell me if I'm not saying it right. I mean, what was his demeanor towards you about this driving passenger relationship?
More or less, we were just, you guys just shooting the shit.
But wasn't he somewhat of a braggart, Torgerson?
Yeah, he'd like to brag.
Huh?
Yeah, he'd like to brag.
And act like he was tough, right?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
And that he didn't work for you, right?
What question? No.
And he wanted to make sure you knew that, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Stoltz? And did he communicate to you that he was a fearless guy?
I'd say so.
What did you say?
I'd say so, yes.
Now, I didn't see what you did with your hands. But let's go back. He says to you at one point in time, when they find her, I'm going away for a long time, right?
Yeah, when they find what they're going to find, yeah.
Just kind of blurts that out, right?
Yeah.
When he talks about this, you don't know what a rush it is to have someone's life in your hands. Was it in that same conversation where he talks about where they're going to find her, or was that a different conversation?
I'd say that was the same conversation.
Okay. Did he say it one after another? When they find her, I'm going away for a long time. You don't know what it's like to have someone's life in your hands. Was it the same?
I'd say it was not right after this same statement. It was more or less in the same context of the conversation we were having.
Was he talking to you at that point in time about his criminal history problems he's had with fights with other men? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And in that same conversation, wasn't he talking to you about his arrest in a Perkins restaurant in Oneida County where they alleged that he used his hands to push somebody off him? You remember that?
Vaguely.
And that's the same conversation that we've been talking about today, where he was revealing that, right?
Yes.
May I ask this witness, Your Honor, because I didn't see the hands, and I don't know if the hand movement, I don't know if you saw it or the jury saw it, to demonstrate that again off the witness stand?
Go ahead.
It was just very subtle.
Could you hold them up?
May the record reflect that the witness briefly put his hands up, almost clasping them together, close together, slightly bent at the fingers.
Okay.
He was driving his van at the time.
Yes.
So were you guys stopped or?
No.
Huh?
No, I don't believe so.
Torgerson was talking about that restaurant fight. You know what I'm talking about, right?
It's kind of hard for me to remember that one. That's in detail.
But it was in the same conversation.
Yeah, I think so.
You and Torgerson's relationship ended rather abruptly, right?
Yeah.
Because you believed, if I understand it right, he stole $500 from your couch, right?
Objection, I don't know the relevance of this.
Sustained.
The relationship lasted about 2 months.
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to him again?
No, after I thought, what I thought.
Before we keep going, I just think this is the same relevance objection.
I'll withdraw the question. Do you know Rebecca Torgerson?
Yeah.
How long have you known him?
I'd say since 2013.
To date? To present?
Right. I mean, I know of her. I don't really communicate with her on a regular basis or anything.
So you communicated with her from 2013 to about when?
2015.
Okay. You had dealings with her socially and professionally? Would that be fair?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you form an opinion as to her character for truthfulness or untruthfulness?
Yeah.
What was it?
Truthfulness.
Truthful?
Yeah. I mean, not to everyone, but
What?
not to everyone.
Did you have a nickname for her?
Stack the deck up back up.
I have no further questions of this witness.
Adam, everything completed?
Okay. Thank you. You may step down.
You can remove this from the subpoena.
Any objection? None. You're released from the subpoena.
Good afternoon.
Thanks.
The next witness we have is
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that after lunch.
Okay. So we'll take an early lunch and be ready to go